Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So I'm doing this video actually with a really sore throat, so every now and then I might have to get a drink, so please excuse me for that. But I've had a look at the racing at Sandown on Saturday, and I think I found a few that I like. Starting off in the first race with WizKid. Now obviously I've highlighted WizKid before. I thought his effort at Aintree was interesting. His jockey went forward early on, probably too keen early on. He was the jockey to go forward. Went a few lengths clear. Seemed to be riding. Whether he thought the horse stayed much further, I'm not sure. Then tried to settle down. A few horses came past, and then he turned into the straight and kicked again. Again, I think he made his effort too early. I think if the jockey could re-ride that, he would, and he would do much better. Now, for that, he then wasn't beaten that far by reasonable horses. Hacker de Place. I highlighted before the races the danger to Severance, and Severance finished second. That was the one that we were actually on. And Washington, who had some good form. So I don't actually think it was a bad effort at all under a ride that could have been optimised. I think the fact that Sam Twiston-Davies takes over on Saturday is a big plus, especially as he obviously rode him to win at Ludlow. The trip should be fine. I do think he's well handicapped off his mark, and the fact that he got gambled last time into 3-1 suggests he is well handicapped. He only went up £1 for his effort at Aintree, and under a more optimised ride, he probably would have won it and gone up £4, £5, £6. Beating horses that were also quite well handicapped. So I think it was a good enough effort that if Sam can give it a more optimised ride, I think he goes very, very close here with WizKid, and he's not a bad price actually. You can still get 13-2 about him. Obviously, Napper's Hill is the favourite. They had high hopes for Napper's Hill. It hasn't quite worked, but he could easily be good enough to win this race. He is giving away a lot of weight. He carries 11.12. Our selection will only be carrying 11.4. So it's £8, but that's obviously based on his handicap mark. Napper's Hill did run just 7 days ago as well. That could be a slight negative for him. I know our horses only ran 15 days ago. I think there's still more to come from WizKid. And I think the 13-2 price looks a fair price for him. The next horse I wanted to talk about was Rouge Vif, not for Saturday. He's running in a Grade 1. He's not a Grade 1 horse. And I'm waiting for him back in a handicap. He's not running in a handicap yet. But if he finishes third or fourth and drops another £1, when he runs in a handicap, he will be very nicely handicapped. The next race I want to talk about is the Bet365 Gold Cup. And I think last year's race is going to have a significant impact on this year's. So last year, the first past the post was Enrillo. Second was Kitty's Light. Second was Potterman. Third was Kitty's Light. Fourth was El Presente. Fifth was Captain Nor. Now, if they had all run in a straight line and not hampered anything, no horses had been hampered, no horses had drifted off a straight line, Kitty's Light wins it. Enrillo finishes second, Potterman finishes third, El Presente fourth, Captain Nor fifth. So, and Kitty's Light was only 5, is now only 6. And I do think Kitty's Light has a big chance in this race. However, last season Jack was able to claim £3. He can't claim £3 this year. That means, effectively, Kitty's Light is actually up £9 from last year. Enrillo is only up £1. And interestingly, 5th place Captain Nor is actually down 5. So Kitty's Light is essentially £14 worse off with Captain Nor, and is £8 worse off with Enrillo, and Enrillo obviously therefore is £6 worse off with Captain Nor. So let's have a look at the actual race. This is the finishing effort. This is Enrillo at the front. Let's maximise this. This is Enrillo. This is Kitty's Light, and this is Captain Nor. Now, if you gave Kitty's Light £9 more and Enrillo £1 more, and Captain Or £5 less. That's going to bring them much, much closer. You know, as I said, I think Kitty's Light would have won it. So it would have been about here, and Rillo would be here, and Captain Or here. Now, £14 for that sort of distance, I think there's certainly a chance for Captain Or to reverse that form. And interestingly, when they actually jumped the last, I think he went the wrong route. I always like horses to stay over here. I think it just seems to be slower over this side, and you watch, these four all seem to finish strongly, whereas this horse down the inside doesn't. You can actually see a bit further back as well. There's a green one that starts stopping and a red one finishing here. I think it's a red one. Whatever colour this is, just about to come to picture. It is the red one. It's Cross Park. Also finishes much faster. You can finish faster down the middle than you can if you end up over on that far side. Sam Twiston Davis takes over from Nick Schofield. Jack stays on Kitty's Light. And Harry stays on Enrillo. Obviously, we've already had a bet on Enrillo at a bigger price. I do think Kitty's Light and Captain Or are the dangers. My downside to Captain Or is he only ran, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? It was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? 2 weeks ago, and he disappointed at Aintree in a race that I personally didn't think he should have been running in anyway. He was already taking on a particularly well-handicapped horse in Chan Bleu. Granted, Chan Bleu didn't win the race. Sam's Adventure won the race, I think. Chan Bleu did finish second. Captain Or didn't really get into it and pulled up quite... I hope he pulled up early enough. Was never asked for an effort early enough that today or Saturday's race can still... he can still go well. It's a really, really tricky one, to be honest, as to what to do here. I've already backed Enrillo. I'm thinking of backing Kitty's Light, and I'm thinking of backing Captain Or, as an each way and a win bet on Kitty's Light. I do think it's out of those three. I think Win My Wings has got too much weight now. I think Phlegmatic and Musical Slave, they're improvers, but I think the ones that have been there and done it, I think have the best chances. Potterman, who won the race, in inverted commas, is up £2 and does reoppose, but I think with clear runs, both Kitty's Light and Enrillo can beat Potterman here. If Captain Or hadn't run 2 weeks ago, I'd be really, really keen on Captain Or. It's just that he ran 2 weeks ago. I mean, I've got a race that I'm going to talk about another horse from in a minute. Captain Or beat Kitty's Light, beat Enrillo at Kempton in the lucrative Coral Trophy. And I thought it was a really, really good effort. I still think he's well handicapped. It's just about how much that race at Sandown, Aintree took out of him. But anyway, moving on to the next race that I do want to talk about. And we actually used this race as a starting point. So Captain Or, Kitty's Light and Enrillo, the three horses I like for the Bet365 Gold Cup. The horse back in sixth that day was Beakstown, who we have had win for us already at Ayr a few weeks ago. And I said after the race that I felt Harry, he didn't panic, but he went too soon on Beakstown. And if he delayed his effort a bit more, he would have won that more comfortably. And I think he went up £8 for it. But for me, I said if he runs against horses that are unexposed, then I'd be worried. But if he takes on horses that I think have found their level or are very close to finding their level, Beakstown can go in again. Looking at the rivals, I think Beakstown can go in again. I think all of these are about their mark. Jacquemart's the one that interests me a little bit. I'm a big fan of Jacquemart, and I don't think he's quite hit his ceiling. But I think Beakstown, there's more to come from Beakstown. And he's 9-4. Let's hope some of the others price up eventually a little bit bigger. And the final horse I want to talk about is in the last race of the Sandown card, and it's Call Me Lord, who's currently been priced up at 9s. I'm a big fan of Call Me Lord. Again, I've spoken about him a few times in videos. He ran in this meeting last year, and for a long way, ran a good race. And it was just coming to the second last in the Grade 2, then he made a really bad mistake, which cost him all chance. That was in a Grade 2. He's now into a handicap over a similar distance. Let me just is slightly shorter, which I don't think is an issue for him. He's in a handicap. I think that's the big thing. I know he's running a couple of handicaps recently. Cheltenham, the ground went completely against him. He wants the better going. He likes Sandown. We know he's got some good form here, including a third and a second in Imperial Cups. He likes Sandown. He likes the ground. He's down to a winnable mark. And, these horses that he's running in against here would not be challenging in graded events. Call Me Lord has in the past. Okay, he's not anymore, but it wasn't that long ago. It was only last season that he finished 5th in the Grade 1 at Aintree. I think back at Sandown, over this distance, on this ground, is very key. I actually thought he ran a good race in the this one here, when he was 6th, beaten by Green Book. It was the Stayers handicap hurdle, essentially. It was over 3 mile. And for a long way, again, Call Me Lord looked like he was going to play a big part, and then just got tired late on. I don't think he quite stayed the 3 mile in that handicap, but he's dropped in the handicap since. The form has been, it hasn't been franked, but it's had some decent efforts from it. Beauport's ran well at Aintree. If the Cap Fits, ran well at Cheltenham. I'm quite keen on Call Me Lord at 9s. Let's hope they price up. Somebody goes 10s, 11s, 12s about Call Me Lord. I think he's better than this, and he's now got his conditions to suit perfectly. So there's some thoughts. I like WizKid. I don't want Rouge Vif to win. And Enrilo, Kitty's Light and Captain Or would be the 3 I think will finish in the 3 of the front 4 at least in the Bet365 Gold Cup. I like Beakstown. I think he can follow up. And I think Captain Or off this handicap mark in a handicap against horses that I would expect him to beat. Thanks for listening. I hope we've got a few winners there. And enjoy your weekend when it comes around.